Hello, Mr. Chalmers here, bringing you another video supplement for teaching from home within the New Zealand curriculum. Today I'm going to be talking about publishing in English. It appears in all levels in primary school, 1 through to 3, so probably ages 6 to 11. And because saying publishing, who's publishing? I thought only people with books that go to be physically produced, novels and historical books. I thought they're the only people that publish. So the word doesn't seem to appear specifically in the New Zealand curriculum. That is a topic that Shannon Cameron talks about, moving on to publishing of your texts as a focus and a goal. The words that the curriculum uses mostly is to reflect and clarify on the meaning and effect, and to bring clarity to the text. So the student's written something in a draft, and we're looking at between them and the teacher and self-reflectiveness about how to improve it, like any kind of written document that you're looking to make a polished copy of. Now, where did it come about? Why do we use the word publishing? Why is it even considered necessary in primary school? So I feel in line with the curriculum's emphasis on the tasks that we do in school should be relevant to our own lives, and that may have not been the case for some of us going through school with various tasks where we just couldn't relate it to anything in our own life, or couldn't see a long-term goal. It's quite interesting to think about how we may approach writing as simply a skill set of learning to write and writing, and then to think about that actually, though it may not, we won't all end up being journalists in a newspaper or writing books, that ultimately we would want an audience at whatever level, even if it's just our class or our family, our parents. And so that can determine a little bit of a shift in thinking about, okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? How am I doing it? And very much in the New Zealand curriculum, it talks about learning to craft your texts, even if it's not a narrative, if it's anything like a recount or something, to craft it for your audience, which is, I guess, the same as what a famous novelist would do as well. Is they would be thinking, what's going to engage my audience, what's a universal thing that we can all relate to, that the person's going to get an inward feeling of satisfaction when they read that moment. You could even relate that to stand-up comedy, even though they're oral communicators. When someone stands up and they say something and everyone in the room knows what they mean with a little bit of imagination, I think it's the same concept of if you had like an outlandish idea and you wanted to write about it, and you write about it, personal satisfaction would be for a reflective journal. But if it is actually for others, then you should be thinking about your audience, and that might make changes about things that if you reread your own text, only you would understand. And so there's a relationship there where the teacher helps guide the student to achieve that, to craft their text to be more readily accessible to the audience. It's e-learning is more than just the a way of learning or writing. So initially you might think, okay, so I've got my plan, I've got my draft, I'm writing a narrative story in school. I could do it with a pen, or I could do it on my iPad, my laptop. Yes, this is true. In these times, and it's probably a specialist thing which I couldn't talk about too much myself, is acknowledging that there are tools and apps that are assisting in the construction of text, but also collaboration. So now we have documents which people can access from multiple places in a school or in the world, and they can work on them together. So there's kind of an absolutely brand new focus with e-technology, I think, with what can be done there, and that would probably vary from school to school. So I hope that's been helpful to unpack a bit about what the focus is for publishing, because you may find that you have a review if you're a fly on the wall in the classroom, and after 3 weeks you check to yourself and you say, wow, they're still writing on the same piece of text that we started 2 weeks ago, to give a more rounded understanding of the rationale that's behind following the text all the way through comprehensive planning through to drafts and tidying it up, polishing, publishing, and then having a final audience, whatever that looks like within the school. Cheers.